much you can do. So I'm going to sign in, and you don't have to just be signed in. You need to have the rights of at least a librarian. So if you don't have librarian rights or you don't have administrator rights, you need to either go and talk to your administrator, your librarian, or functional solutions. Okay, now to be able to do security or work with security, you need to understand that when we're talking security in SmartSuite, we are talking about security on the books and security on the patrons. So you need to have both of them working together. So let's start with the patron. Okay, so let's go to the patron records. I'll click on the menu, I'll go down to patron and patron management, and it will bring up my record. So if I want to find out not my security, I want to find out somebody else's, I'm going to do find, and I'm looking for Mike. Okay, so let's find Mike, and there's Mike Scott. Okay, when I look at Mike Scott, it tells me that he has security 12. All right, so where did that come from? Okay, so the security is tied to his class grade, okay, and that needs to be set up for all year 12s. Year 11s, all of them will have security. Year 10s, all of them will have security. Year 2s, all of them will have security. Teachers, they'll have security. So where do we go to set up the global security for every individual group within the library? So the first place you go to menu, you'd go down to configuration and the authority file editor. And remember, we're talking about it being tied to the class grade. So we need to go to the class grade authority entry. So when I go down to configuration and authority editor, it'll bring up all the authority files, but it'll only show one because it's an alphabetic sequence. So if I click that, there's all the authority files that we have. Class grade is the one that we're talking about. So click on class grade, and there's all your different year levels, including staff if you've got them. So how do security levels apply here? So let's choose year 12. If I click that pencil at the end of the year 12, it'll show me all the borrowing parameters about the year 12. The only thing I'm interested in is the security number. And a 12 means that he has a security 12. And so let's have a look at a 8. Click on the 8. And then 8 means he's a security 8. So basically, the security number corresponds to the year level. So 1 will be 1, 2 will be 2, 10 will be year 10s, a year 12 will have a 12 security. And what about prep? So the prep will be 0. They don't have any security. Okay, and of course, what about teachers? Well, let's have a look. So let's go down here. My recommendation, because there's no number that corresponds to a staff, my recommendation is have a staff of just an arbitrary number like 50. Okay, and what that means is, so if I am looking at a year 9, let's have a look at a year 9. Okay, so when I'm looking at a year 9, so this year 9 has no security, and I go, oh, that's wrong. So let's fix it. So he's now got a 9 that corresponds with the 9. What does that mean? That means that any person in a year 9 group can borrow any material or look at any video that is appropriate for year 9s and below. That's all it means. Okay, and if you change anything, click the save. It happens in a fraction of a second. That's it. So if I'm looking at a year 12, what the year 12 means that they can watch any video and borrow any resource allocated up to year 12. So if a material was allocated for year 10s, year 12 could have it. Okay, but if a year 10 came to borrow a material that is allocated to year 12, they won't be able to. Okay, so you can, the year 12 can do everything from year 12 and below. A year 9 can do everything with material from year 9 and below. Okay, a year 3 can look at any material and borrow any material from year 3 and below. That's how that would work on the patron side. Now that you know that every patron belongs in a class grade, every class grade has its own security level, that's on the patron side. What about the catalog? Let's go into the catalog and have a look at that. Every catalog record also has a particular security rating. So if I look at 100 people who made history, it's a security 0. That means anyone can borrow it. Okay, but let's say for argument's sake, this is a senior fiction book and I only want my year 6s and above to borrow it. So I'll just make it 6. So you need to be at least year 6 or above to be able to borrow it. If I said it's a year 12, then you need to be a year 12 or above to be able to borrow it. And that's as simple as it gets. So how do you allocate it? Well, you do it there. If you don't have any security and everyone is zero, that means everybody can borrow everything. And if you say, I want senior fiction to have year 12 and above, I want middle fiction to be for the year 10s and above. So if you want to now retrospectively go back and apply security based on a location or a sublocation or whatever, you can do it individually, but please talk to us and we'll help you do a global change based on a certain global criteria. Okay, it has to be a global criteria. You can say everything in this location is only for year 10s and above. Everything on this location is for year 9s and above. Everything over here in this area is for everybody. We don't care. That's how that works. Okay, now let me go back into my search screen. Okay, so let's have a look at the schools collection. And we are going to have a look at videos as an example. So when videos get added to the collection, okay, let's have a look at this video, organisms. Okay, now you can see it's an M-rated video, so let's just bring it up and have a look and see what security does that have, because really you don't want an M-rated security being watched by the students. So let's click on the video. It'll come up here and this will disappear in a minute, and I'm going to put it on hold so that it's not distracting us. And I'll go back and click on information to bring up the record, and there's my edit button because I'm a librarian login user, so I have high level of security. I click on that to bring up the catalog record. Let's have a look at the catalog record and what security that's been allocated. Oh, so this is for year 10s and above. And I go, no, I don't want my year 10s looking at that. That's really only for my year 12s. So now only year 12s and above can watch it. But that might have nudity, it might have language, so you want to play this video to your students and you don't want them to have access to it. So what you can do is you can make it for teachers only. So you need to have at least a security of 50 and above, which is teachers. Now, if a teacher added this video onto the system and you look at it and you think, why did he or she put it there? That's not appropriate for our school. So you make it any number above 50. So let's say I make it 60. All right, so now a teacher can only watch material from 50 and below. So now the teacher can't do that. Why would you do that? Well, you might want to just save that record, okay? And then you can say, all right, now the teacher can't do that. I know Justin added that video. I need to go and talk to Justin. So no teacher can have access to that. So you can go and talk to Justin, find out what he's doing, and then you can either then delete it, or you can say, no, that's okay. He's watched the whole thing and he can't see anything objectionable on it. So change it back to security 50, which teaches only, and off you go. Okay, so that's how you control the security of the videos. However, every time a teacher adds a video, you don't want to be going in and setting a security. So we have some default securities that are set for all videos that get imported into the system. So how's that done? So back in here into the menu, back into configuration, but not the authority file editor. Okay, we want to scroll up a bit, and you've got one there called settings. Sorry, no, it's not in settings. Default video, authority file editor. That's right. Okay, and these are all your authority file entries here. Okay, remember class grade? We're going to go all the way to the bottom, and it's video default security. In other words, if videos get added, default security levels apply to different ratings of the video. So when you click on that, it says if it's a G, let everybody watch it. If it's an M, you got to be year 10s and above. If it's an MA, it's got to be 12 and above. If it's PG, you got to be a year 6 or above. If it's R, I don't want anyone watching it, so you just make it 999. That's above a teacher. Administrators can. So if teachers start adding R-rated stuff, and you go, you're telling me you got R-rated stuff on TV for education? The answer is yes. We don't put it there. We get a request from teachers. They want some sex education material, or they want something about a war that's quite ghastly and grisly, but it's a documentary, so it's R-rated. Okay, so only teachers can then show it in the classroom. Okay, but when the video gets added, it'll automatically protect you and your students from having access or locked out of access for inappropriate videos. So that's how default video access is allocated. However, let's say for argument's sake, I am looking at a video and I'm a teacher and I added this video onto the system. Okay, so here's this video. It's an M video. And the problem with this video is I've seen the video and I don't have an issue giving that to my students. Okay, so it's saying it's not recommended, but you've seen it and you cannot give that video to a student because they can't see it. But you decide, no, I don't care. I do want to give it to my student. I'm happy to be accountable to it. So if you want to share any videos on the system with anybody, you've got the share icon. Okay, so this is, remember, teachers only. So now I'm going to share that video. Who do you want to share it with? I want to share it with my year 11s. Okay, and now I can grab that URL, highlight it with my mouse, right click and go copy. And now I can share it. Okay, and that video will only play through this link, but the link will expire on that date. And you can say, no, I only want to share it for 2 weeks. So basically on the 8th of December, I want that link to stop working. Okay, and there you go. And that's how you can override the security. Bear in mind, if you share a video, we track who you are, when you did it, and which year level you shared it with, and we can provide that kind of audit information to the administrators or to the principal, just in case there's a kerfuffle in with one of the parents or whatever, and the principal wants to know, well, who did it? We keep track of all of that for you. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to present security in SmartSuite. So not only is it applied to videos, okay, so let's say for argument's sake, you've got a book and you've paid $400 for this book, and it's an amazing art book and it's a very expensive book. Why not go into the system, okay, and go into the catalog and mark it for teachers only? So then all of a sudden, if a student picks it up off the shelf, they will never be able to borrow it, because it'll pop up with a message in circulation say you cannot lend this out to this particular student because it's above his security rating. Do you want to override? And of course you can override anything if you've logged in as an administrator. Okay, so that's how you can make sure that senior fiction is only for year 10, 11 and 12 or year 12 and above. If you made that a 10, that means year 10 and above. Okay, and that's all there is to the system security. Very powerful, amazingly simple, and we can help you retrospectively apply security across your entire collection. So if you need to go down that path, why not click on the menu, click on the mailbox, and then send us a ticket and say, can someone ring me and talk to me about how to set security globally for all our past material, and then we'll set it for any new material we add. And we're more than happy to work out with you. Bearing in mind, to be able to set security globally, there has to be some way in your data that it's grouped, like senior fiction, junior fiction, various locations, various sub-locations, and so forth and so on. Okay. Thank you very much for attending this SmartSuite security session.